Now something's happening. Looks like click here to start streaming. Oh, I did. Right. That was odd. What happened there? Let's just see. Is it on? Oh, something's happening. Yeah, it's on. Looks like click here to start streaming. Alright. Oh, I did. That's weird. Never mind. Is it on? Now something's happening. Looks like click here to start streaming. Yeah, oh, I did. It's working. Seems to be working. Let's just go to chat. I'm sure people will tell me if it's not working. But hello, Israel Diego Rivera Genius 2, the real genius, who says, who shot JR? Obscure 80s soap opera reference there. And user 1, just for a change, is second. He's damn, not the first, because scheduled. Alright. Yeah, Sorenable shot JR. Hello, Sorenable, how are you? The Crafty Nihilist. Hey guys, how you doing? Oh yeah, they've done their own reportage, the Crafties, on the Glastonbury Symposium, and they suggested I go next year. I will. Hello Lisa, how you doing? Clopite, greetings. Bernie Tucker, good evening. David Schultz, I'm in the house. How's the drought affected you? Oh blimey. Oh David, check out my heatwave. I think you were there. Check out my heatwave live stream. Still going on. Good evening, Martin Taylor. And good evening, Maga Snarnock. Yes, I've got the hat here. It's normally hanging up behind me. We have, Lisa says weird things happening all over late. Yes, very. The world of ufology is pretty hectic right now, isn't it? Diazepam, hello. And Jock of Ages, greetings. Woody Black, it ain't half hot, Ben. Oh, it is, isn't it? There's this big fly in the room. It keeps buzzing in front of me. Hello, Tina Silver. How you doing? And Aziraphale. How do you do? And the Light Swallow. Greetings, all of you. Hope you're doing all right. Thanks for joining us. David Schultz. Thanks for tuning in all the way in Maine. Armand Adams and all the rest of you in Britain and other places. Hello, how are you? I don't have to do the sharing because you may have noticed. In fact, User 1 just pointed out. As User 1 just pointed out. I scheduled this one in advance. I don't know why I've never done that before. Everyone else does. Most people do, Thomas Barden, recent people, everyone, and Nocturnal Frequency, all the people I guest on, they schedule in advance. So I thought I'll do that. I'll share the link before I go on the air, and I don't have to bother with it when I'm actually on the air, and I can start broadcasting straight away. Lisa says, all things back to normal tomorrow. I enjoyed it all. Night's a bit warm, but lovely. I'm glad you did, Lisa. I think you're more of a hot weather person than I am. Yes. Good evening, DJ B2. How'd you do? Sorry I missed you out. Let me just do the expansion thing. Hold on. Let me just do the zoom thing so I'm not... There we go, 150. That's it. Hello, Donna Wellham. How'd you do? I'm just eating our pasties. Oh, you're Cornish, of course, yes. My niece and her partner bought us earlier when she was down, so having our tea while watching this. Hey, great, Donna. I hope you enjoy it. I hope I'm good tea time viewing. Jock of Ages, I always miss them. Alright, Tina Silver, I'm laying here in my bikini. Oh, have you got any photos? Send them over. And so welcome all of you. Thanks for coming. I scheduled the video in advance. I've done all the sharing and everything. That's all sorted. Hello, Stephen Truthseeker. Oh, you're cleaning his fish tank. Oh, I'm sure the fish will be happy. Someone's painting. I remember there's some. I'll go through the comments on the. On the notice because somebody apparently is painting at the moment, and apparently I'm interesting. I'm more interesting to watch than the paint drying, which is something, isn't it? We've got now 36 viewers. I think we'll probably settle. It'll level up at some point, and we can get on with the subject matter. And I'll go into all the comments that were left on the notice as well. Clopite says, I've got a lovely tan from Crete and Kefalonia. Then camping this weekend in Dorset. Thanks, Harp. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, in the Greek islands, of course, it's all... In the Greek islands, of course, they're used to that. And now you're actually... you got it, yeah. Clopite, I think you must have watched my heatwave live stream, because they do question about, when we get these extreme weather events, exactly how natural are they? Are they just chance? The weather's supposed to happen by chance. I gave information indicated that the control of the weather on a large scale is possible using several different methods. Snarnock said, "I'd rather watch paint dry than watch a sports match." Well, I like sport, I do. I'm not like a fan of a football team or anything. I do enjoy most sports I like, but yeah, it's gone downhill. Warm and humid on the Hampshire coast, says GJB2. Yeah, there's gonna be rain coming. Apparently, there's be thunderstorms tomorrow. I'm going to be out in it, so I'm not worried about that. I'll just make sure I don't go anywhere I can get struck by lightning, on high hills and things like that. And that's all I can do. Woody Black I was watching Keith Wood's video, then your notification came up. All right. When I think of Keith Wood, I think of TBR and his impressions. Donna says, when you next come to Cornwall, try one of Philip's pasties, very popular. And we're having also Hampsons are delicious too. Thanks, Donna. Well, we were talking earlier about the Cornish UFO conference, and I'd like to go to that. Yeah. Nihilist Lives Matter says, hello Nihilist Lives Matter, how are you? These Sunday streams are almost a tradition. I do try to do one at least once a week. If I do them on weekdays, I'll do them later, 9 PM instead of 7, so that people in other time zones can join in. So, because otherwise, if I do them at 7 PM here, the people in North America, who I get a lot of viewers from that continent, they can't shoot. But usually, it's the middle of the day for them, and they're very often at work. Hello, Legendary, how do you do? Mr. Nice, evening Ben, evening all. Trump parade? Yes, Mr. Nice. As soon as the viewing figures have levelled off, we'll get on to tonight's subject. And yeah, I think 1900 Clopite is perfect for the weekend, because the people from all over the world really can appear. I think it's the easiest for people in different times of the world. Hello, David Daniel. Welcome, first time watcher. Oh, well, welcome. Hope you stay around. Nihilist Lives Matter. Did Ben just harass a young lady asking for bikini photos? I know Tina very well. It's alright. We're friends, and we're sort of, I wouldn't say that to a complete stranger, but. All right, guys. So what's been happening? Well, hello, Pat Riot. Greetings. As you know, President Trump has come about some more trouble. Some more trouble has come about in his life, and he made a statement on Truth Social the other day, in which he explains exactly what happened. He says, these are dark times for our nation, as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago, in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a President of the United States before. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is a prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and Conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. They even broke into my safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democratic National Committee? Here, in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. The political persecution of President Donald J. Trump has been going on for years, with the now fully debunked Russia scam, impeachment hoax 1, impeachment hoax 2, and so much more. It just never ends. It is political targeting at the highest level. Hillary Clinton was allowed to delete and acid wash 33,000 emails after they were subpoenaed by Congress. Absolutely nothing has happened to hold her accountable. She even took antique furniture and other items from the White House. I stood up to America's bureaucratic corruption. I restored power to the people and truly delivered for our country like we have never seen before. The establishment hated it. Now, as they watch my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance in the polls, they're trying to stop me and the Republican Party once more. The lawlessness, political persecution and witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people. So basically, this is basically what happened. I'll just catch up with the chats. David Daniel says, do you have regular live chats? As many as I can, David. Yes. Woody Black, more unfounded nonsense they're trying to stitch him up with. Yeah. Lisa says, I still think we're living in a totally and utterly planned out movie to attempt to wake humanity. Hard work, isn't it? You never know, Lisa. I mean, obviously I hope so. Sarnock said Biden and his woke administration. Yeah. Well, you can't say it on YouTube, but you know what I think about Biden's administration. Nihilist Lives Matters. I wish Trump could be president of the whole world. POTWW. Yeah. Yeah. I'll let the fly out soon, I think. Lola J. Oh my God. Trump's a cowboy on a steel horse he rides. He's wanted, like fat girl thighs. For some reason I could approve that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But there's no swearing in it. But there you go. So that was President Trump's statement. There's I've also been to the Wikipedia page. I've also watched several commentators on this, such as Styx Hexenhammer has done a couple of videos on this, and Sargon of Akkad. Yeah, this happened on Monday. There were 11 sets. What the problem is, the pretext for this, and there's a pretext because, as Trump explained, the Biden occupation, there I said it, is in trouble because in November there's a chance to essentially hobble the entire federal government in a way that hasn't already happened, because already there, obviously you can see there's some kind of secret civil war going on in the United States. For the people some people say, well, what do you care, Ben? You're not American. Well, I think there's nothing wrong with commenting on another country's politics, especially when it's actually a global situation. This is a worldwide situation. It happens to be manifesting in this particular time in the United States. Also, I should point out that British. What else am I going to comment on when I comment about politics? Because British politics is incredibly boring. Since the Tory leadership election now is just. I'm not even going to make a video about it when we're going to get a new Prime Minister in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to make a video. I don't think I'm even going to say anything about it, because what difference does it make? Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, Coke or Pepsi? I think it was interesting when Kemi Badenoch was in the race, but she's been kicked out, hasn't she? Yeah, she would have been different. She would have made it more interesting, I think. Because she's someone I quite like. Yes, the flies. One DJ Beauty says flies are a downside of the warm weather, but I must say that it's good to see insects. It's good to see insects flying around. Temporal transmissions. Good evening. How do you do? It's a CIA fly. As Starnock says, the Alex Jones trial is happening at the same time. Nice says, Mr. Nice, I can't actually say that word on YouTube. Obviously, I think you are wrong in the way you portray people like me, but you're using a letter of the alphabet. I can't actually even mention in this context. But you may have seen. I actually had a blogger post deleted. Can you believe it? For talking about the 17th letter. Oh. Anyway, guys. Kemi Badenoch's out. I know I'm going off topic a little bit here, but Kemi Badenoch, it was quite interesting when there's a chance that Kemi Badenoch could be Prime Minister. I mean, she would be the British Trump. Hopefully she wouldn't make the same mistakes that Boris did. But yeah. And Starnock said they're all cut from the same cloth. The establishment in the UK would never allow a true man or woman of the people to be Prime Minister. The thing is, Starnock, they don't always get their say. As I explained in my article about this, if you read it, every so often they slip up. Trump and Brexit was a slip-up. I know a lot of you don't agree, but that's true. And but unfortunately, now we only have like Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, who really, it makes no difference which one it is. They're both very similar. Yeah, and Lisa says it's going to take a lot to wake people up, wean them off the nanny state. Well, yeah, litter's a big problem, isn't it, Lisa? And do you know what, Lisa, we've been bred to be dependent. That's the thing. Tina said it was a full moon and the helical rising of Sirius. Oh, what does that entail, Tina? Because I remember it was a full moon because on Thursday it was the day before the full moon. I know because I did space weather. Stephen has you've got a plant that eats flies. What, like a Venus flytrap? Yeah, and Mr. Nice says use cash. Exactly, yes. Use cash, definitely. Corbyn was the only legit politician, says Clopite. Well, Clopite, as much as I disagreed with him, I couldn't help. Well, I used to think he was at least sort of like sincere, so I had a kind of grudging respect for him. But look how he behaved when the whole Brexit thing came about. Anyway, guys, I'll get on with these notes. Now it was all a big scam because the agents, the FBI, they got a search warrant. And now I don't know exactly. Some lawyers are saying that they didn't have the right to do that without the permission of the state governor. Ron DeSantis, he's very much condemned this. But he says agents recovered 11 sets of classified documents. One, top secret, sensitive, compartmented information. That is the highest classification level, at least what we know of. 4 sets of top secret level, 3 sets of secret level, 3 sets of papers at confidential level. Confidential is the level they classify the material I used to deal with at the hospital, medical records, things like that. However, as you see, this appears to be some kind of excuse, in my view. But even though they're now investigating Trump for 3 possible federal crimes, the removal and destruction of records, obstruction of justice, and violating the Espionage Act regarding unauthorized rendition of national defense information. So these documents presumably revealed to defense issues. That's the explanation. Now, he had them in his safe. I mean, according to the president, now there's 2 stories, like, because someone said he was out at the time, he was in New York, but then there's another story that he was at home, and he and Melania were both at home, and they had to stand, the agents made them stand and face the wall. You know, they essentially put them under arrest. They broke into his safe, and they didn't find anything there. But I mean, I don't know. You see, whether this is actually legitimate or not. Is this actually, how serious is this? Because Styx thinks it's not very serious. Styx was saying this is something that they all do anyway, that presidents all do anyway, and that the documents are not really that sensitive. You know, Bill Clinton took a few home with him when he left the White House. So did Obama, etc., etc., and that. This essentially is just simply an excuse. It's one of these, like, people. I've known people do this before. People do this in workplaces and things like that. So they might decide. You know, there's a rule that's on officially there, but no one obeys it, and then they decide to enforce it for a particular person because they don't like them. What they're trying to do, I think, is I think that what they want to do is get Trump into a position legally where he can't run for president. If he has a conviction, he can't run for president. Or maybe a 3rd impeachment. I mean, he can. They're talking about a 3rd impeachment because as a US president, even a former one, although I don't think he's former, he can be. Impeached, and maybe they want to impeach him successfully. Maybe, in which case he couldn't run for president. The Wikipedia page is like really, it's very very biased. For example, this is a sentence here. Trump ranted against what he claimed was a deep state and viewed the assessment as an insult. I mean, ranted. You see, this is supposed to be an encyclopedia, but it's using like lots of strong language like that. Oh, but so apparently they have found some documents there. Apparently they searched the entire house. Now it's 128 rooms. This building. It's a huge building. It was built in the 1920s. And hello, body technician. How do you do? Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Well, it will be like that, unfortunately. Yeah. Regrettably, David, it will be like that when with Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak. Good evening, body technician. Oh, Stephen says, it's not a... Oh, is it a pitcher plant, Stephen? This is the plant that eats flies, yeah. Where are we now? Oops, I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Tina mentions power outages. Yeah, I think they seem to be throwing the kitchen sink at us, as Dave Cullen said. I don't think they've actually decided what crisis they're going to use yet. I mean, there's climate, of course, which may well be engineered. Food shortages, I think, is a definite, and the recession and things like that. Maybe they'll try something else. I don't know. Woody Black says Tim Pool says this will lead to a civil war, but he says that about anything. Well, maybe this is the moment that does start something like that, which of course I hope that it won't come to that, but there you go. Richard Best says, I heard they found a 2042 sports almanac in Trump's safe. Richard, that's a reference to Back to the Future 2, yeah, where Biff becomes a Trump-like figure, yeah. And Lisa, I don't believe he's an ex-president. I don't either, and I think, that's all I can say on YouTube, but I do think that, yeah. Good evening, David. Splendid Isolation. How do you do? David Schultz says, from my point of view, it's all a kabuki theatre for the masses. Well, they're screwing you where the sun don't shine. Well, David, I don't think it's as simple as that now. I don't. I think there's more to it than that. When it comes to Trump, it's different. Most of the time, you'd be right, though. Hello, Hugo Rune. How are you? Thank you for joining us. And yeah, it's good what they're doing in the Netherlands. The Dutch farmers are rebelling, which is great. I mean, my mother was a Dutch woman, so I'm half Dutch myself. Yeah. David, it is despicable what they're doing to Trump. Yeah. Let me just find out. Let me just get to the rest of my notes. This, of course, is a political move. This is simply a staged event, really, for political reasons. Kevin Logan, of course, is condemned. I watched Kevin Logan's commentary on this, and of course, he's doing his usual, going on about how Trump deserves it and things like that. Now, would it affect? See, it won't affect Trump's presidential run. Now, Hillary Clinton, of all people, has hired a lawyer who said that if Trump is charged, he cannot run for political office. Now, Styx Hexenhammer says that a charge is not enough. A conviction would be needed to make him illegitimate, not just an investigation or even a charge. Styx, or was it? I think it may have been Sargon, one of Sargon's mates, said that this. What's happening pretty soon, there's probably going to be a whitewash on the January the 6th thing. So, for example, the investigation is probably going to conclude that there was actually nothing untoward going on. It wasn't an insurrection, it wasn't a riot. In which case, they're going to need something to distract. But, another reason this is pretty much staged is that, if they really wanted these files, if Trump had these classified files, which he took from the White House when he left, when he supposedly stopped being president, why couldn't they just ask him? They could have phoned him up or sent him an email and said, could we have them back, please? And he'd probably have agreed. He would probably have agreed. But they didn't. They want to make it look. They want to make it look more dramatic, which is why they did this. Which is they wanted people to see Trump being raided. And he compares it to the Watergate scandal. Now, the Watergate scandal is an interesting one. This happened in 1972 at a place called the Watergate Hotel, and it led to the resignation of the president, Richard Nixon. And you see, there was a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters. 5 people broke in looking for various documents. It was all was it Woodward and Bernstein were the two. It's interesting. This was a conspiracy theory that was proven true. Was it Woodward and Bernstein, the two the two journalists who worked on this? Now, Woodward and Bernstein. It's interesting, by the way. Woodward and Bernstein. Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein of the Washington Post. They were investigative journalists who actually reported on the Watergate scandal first. Now, when this happened, they were technically conspiracy theorists. And they would have been called conspiracy theorists, like me. And as it happened, though, what they were theorising was proven true. So it should be a lesson for anyone saying, well, there's a conspiracy theory, this is a conspiracy theory, so it's all nonsense. We don't know. Well, just calling something a conspiracy theory doesn't make it nonsense, because a lot of history is conspiracy theory told with retrospect. How you guys getting on in chat? Oh, here we go. I'm proud of those farmers in Holland. Yeah, I am, yes. Starnock said maybe when they restart CERN, Lucifer will fall down. Well, CERN has restarted, and Lucifer, I think, is still looming over the Denver airport. Yeah. Clopite, how are people coping with the gas electric price rises? Oh, it's a bit of a drag. I mean, it's not. I think the worst of it's yet to come, to be honest. Gardening with Nick. Hello, Gardening with Nick. I hope you're well. I hope you're welcome, Gardening with Nick. That's a good YouTube name. And Snarnock says they've never heard of the WEF and Klaus Schwab, but they can tell you who's going to win Love Island. Oh God, not Love Island. Yeah. Lalo Salamanca. Hello. Ivanka might run as the Simpsons predicted. Well, that would be something, wouldn't it? Lisa says, I feel we always have to think ahead and not take anything at face value as it might appear. Far higher onion slices going on. Yeah, I mean, this could be, as you say, Lisa, all part of the plan, or some kind of plan. I think at a higher level, everything is. I mean, everything in a sense is a learning experience, and we should try to welcome it and see what we can get out of it, I think, yeah. Lots of talk about cannabis going on. Hugo Roon will be interested in that. When Trump did legalise, Trump got rid of this stupid cannabis law. That's Hugo will tell you all about that, because he suffered from it personally. He was on TV, our Hugo. Alright, so where's my notes? I don't have many notes, actually. It's a pretty simple situation. I don't have an awful lot to say. Except, this is pretty clear the FBI is now being used as essentially political commissars, rather like the British police. If you think about it, like they from the FBI, what has the FBI done? They spent a lot of time and money raiding Trump's home. Obviously, it was an attempt to harass him and present him in a bad light. And unfortunately, a lot of America is so divided that half the people are saying, yeah, it's good, and half are saying it's awful. But what didn't they do? Well, they were searching this 128-room mansion in Florida just for some boxes of files. There was 11 boxes which they could have just phoned up and asked him for. What have they not done? They ignored Hillary Clinton's emails and all the things she was up to. They ignored Hunter Biden's laptop. They ignored all the things to do with Jeffrey Epstein and the people he was hanging around with and the people hanging around with him. The FBI have not acted against those. Now, what does that tell you? Also, the search was apparently wrongful. According to the law, according to the right way to conduct a search warrant under these circumstances, Trump should have been allowed to have his lawyer present, and he wasn't. Apparently, he was told to switch off the CCTV cameras in his house, things like that. Now, as you can see, if you look at the thumbnail I chose for the notice, which is still up, I haven't deleted it yet. You will see that it says police on the side of this car. There's a police car parked outside the gates of Mar-a-Lago, and it says police. Now, that means that the local police would have cooperated with the FBI. I'm not sure what the legal side of that is, whether that's legitimate or not. I mean, an expert in American law maybe will tell me whether the FBI can commandeer the local police or state police to help it in whatever it's doing for the federal government. Because I know that Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, condemned it. The United States is not a singular nation. It's a federation of 50 semi-independent nations, which have a great deal of political autonomy. And I'm not sure exactly how that works out, whether they can, because DeSantis would not have ordered the police to do this if he's against it, unless he's forced to by law. This law compels him to. People are talking about The Simpsons. Yeah, The Simpsons is remarkably prescient, isn't it? Yeah. Snarlock, the FBI CIA is the equivalent of the KGB, NKVD, yes. Hello, Goonlove, how are you? It's getting like that, isn't it? I mean, Trump said it's like a third world dictatorship, and, well, it is, isn't it? This is the sort of thing that happens in, like, South America, places like that. There's all sorts of other nonsense things, like they're saying some really strange things, like they say, Trump was tearing up documents if they were tricky, because they said Trump was scared about getting caught, so he tore up documents and shoved them down the toilet, and apparently his staff were going into the presidential toilet after him and photographing it, and you could see, all you see is that there's some photos going around of a toilet bowl with some pieces of paper literally floating in the bowl. And they said that's Trump. Trump did that when he went, which is, well, firstly, it's a bit weird. Why would you go into the presidential toilet and sort of take photos of it, unless you wanted to, you wanted to take pictures of the president's poo or something? But he's apparently flushing documents down the toilet. I mean, that sounds a bit weird. But anyway, Styx was saying that what will they do next? If this doesn't work, what will they do? And Styx says they might JFK him. They have that option, don't they, of silencing him in an extrajudicial manner, terminate him with extreme prejudice, as that little phrase from Apocalypse Now. All I can hope for, because I mean, I think if they were going to do that, they'd probably have done it already. And they haven't, which means somebody must be looking after him. Somebody's got to be watching his back, otherwise they'd have done this before. I mean, they may try again, you see, and maybe they may be lucky from their point of view and unlucky from our point of view but I think all we can do is pray for his safety. We can pray for his safety and pray maybe the 17th letter of the alphabet is looking after him. The people who are behind the 17th letter are looking after him. I just hope that's the case. I hope he has people protecting him, because he's a great man. What's it? Goonlove says, when are you back in Newcastle? Right, I don't know. When I'm invited to speak, I'd love to. I think they're going to invite me back, the group. And looks like that, yeah. And Corky says, so were the documents planted or declassified? Trump said both. Yeah, some of them were some of them were like, the documents they were after were like White House dinner menus. I mean, what the hell? Why are White House dinner menus classified? Is it are they concerned about people finding out what food they eat so that they could put poison in it or something? I'm sure these things are tested. I mean, someone joked in Styx Hexenhammer's live stream that Trump should employ a taster. Traditionally kings and queens and people had a taster. They had a guy called a taster who would basically eat a little bit of all the food that was served to the monarch, because a lot of these, in case there was poison in it. I mean, the taster would be paid. The taster would be paid a very high wage because of the risks of the job. But he basically have to taste everything the king and queen eat, and if there's any poison in it, the taster will drop dead. Yeah. So, Corky, I think probably there were a number of. I think it wouldn't surprise me if they did plant evidence. They did plant documents that Trump wasn't supposed to have. I mean, they say these are defense. These are issued. These were concerned with defense, which means maybe nuclear codes and things. I mean, I doubt if it's nuclear codes. I mean, if it was nuclear codes, let's face it, it'll be a lot safer in Trump's vault than it would be with Biden, wouldn't it? Oh yeah. It wasn't nuclear codes. It's probably something related to that. But they probably did plant stuff on him. Snarnock said, "I enjoyed your disclosure video last night." Thanks, Snarnock. I'm glad you liked it. I made that sort of when I heard about the bloody photo, the Calvine photo coming out. I thought, what the f? Oh, Pat Wright says an anagram of Ronald Dion DeSantis, running mate for Trump, is in running mate. Maybe it will be the running mate. Yeah, Lord Satan inside Don. They're having a laugh. Woody Black makes a point here. America will balkanise if things carry on at this rate. Woody, wouldn't surprise me. It happened before. It happened now. Of course, when it happened before the balkanisation, it led to the American Civil War of the mid-19th century, which was devastating. 1 million people were killed in that war. If you watch the film Gone with the Wind, actually is a good dramatisation of what it was like to live in that war. I should do a watch party about that at Christmas, shouldn't I? 'Cause of course, it's a bit different now because you could be dealing with nuclear weapons. You could be dealing with nuclear weapons in this case, and one side or both sides might have access to those weapons. Like in that series Jericho that Steve Bassett mentions. Jericho's an interesting series actually. It's set in a rural town somewhere in America, somewhere in mid-United States. Let's have a look. Jericho. And suddenly everything goes quiet. American drama series, yeah. It's a 2006 TV series. These people live in this little town, this little remote town in, where is it? In Kansas. And suddenly the TV goes off, the phone lines go down, everything just gets cut off, and because they're in this remote area, they don't know what's going on, and they realise there's been a massive nuclear attack on the major cities in the United States, so they're now living up in a post-apocalyptic world. And there's always this idea that maybe, obviously, China or Russia, usually these are the ones that normally get blamed. China, Russia, North Korea have attacked and destroyed the United States, but then it turns out that it's actually a civil war. These bombs were dropped by a rebel faction within the United States government itself, and basically this is obviously in a civil war today, in a balkanized situation like you're talking about, which Woody Black talked about. That could happen, couldn't it? That could happen. What we can only hope is, I think, is that the 17th letter and the people around them, they're the ones that actually they get a chance to seize access to those weapons first. Now, we know that the military is very much on the side of the 17th letter and Trump. We know that. Hopefully this will include, for example, the nuclear forces. They have Britain only has Britain's nuclear weapons on there. I think it's solely the submarine-launched deterrent, that is Trident. The US, of course, has Trident as well, but they have land-based weapons, and I think the US Air Force has them. Of course, they always deny that they exist, but they're there, yeah. The presidential poop. Snarnock, could DeSantis be the false prophet mentioned in Revelations? The other candidate could be Elon Musk. Yeah, it's the false... Yeah, you've always got to be on your guard for things like that, don't you? You know, I wouldn't say, trust nobody. Everyone's a shill. I don't want to get into that Hawleyan mindset where basically you just turn against everyone because you distrust everyone. But we have to be on our guard, don't we? We have to be on our guard. Nihilist Lives Matter. They want to send him to the Gulag for 24. Well, we don't have gulags in the West. Nihilist Lives Matter. They don't even have them in Russia anymore. However, what are those FEMA camps for then? Eh? Do you remember the FEMA camps? They're still there. They're estimated to have the capacity together. I mean, I think there's about 13 or 14 of them. They're estimated together to have the capacity for over 1 million people. So why are they building concentration camps in the United States? A jock of ages. The disturbing thing is how eager people are to believe this. They're pre-programmed to hate him, so they believe anything. Did you see Mark Dice's video? Yeah, Mark Dice did a video, and he's very good at this sort of thing. Basically, there was a demonstration outside Trump Tower, and they were carrying a placard. They were carrying a banner saying "Arrest Trump." And Mark Dice went up to these people and says, "Oh, what's he done wrong? What do you want to arrest him for?" And the guy couldn't even answer. He says, "I don't know." It's like, this is the NPC mentality. This is, unfortunately for the NPCs, if you tell them something, they're going to believe it because they can't do anything else. This is the problem and there's a large number of people of NPCs. NPCs are more numerous than psychopaths. And they, and you see, if you tell them something, they believe it. That's the problem. They believe it. Corky says there is no false prophet. The Bible has been proven wrong by history and science. All right. Well, I don't know, Corky. I don't know if you saw my. Did you see my apocalypse video? You might be interested in that because I think it's not quite simple as that. I think there is some truth behind the Bible, and indeed a lot of these old ancient texts and what they mean. Snarnock says, according to Bashar, the critical mass is 51%. Oh, bloody heck. 51%? According to Lyle Watson, it's 1%. It's 1% for monkeys. You know that for the monkeys in Japan. That's where you get the 100th monkey syndrome. But is it really 51% for people? Yeah. Vagabond Heart, welcome. Says, come to Glasgow, Ben. I'll be glad to. If you want me to book me to speak, I'll be glad to. Yeah. Oh, hang on a minute. Just got to check something. One second, guys. Won't be a sec. Just realised something. Alright. Alright, no, that's okay, right. I'm actually speaking at a couple of places coming up. I'm speaking in Birmingham in October. I'm speaking in Lincolnshire next month. But yeah, Vagabond Heart, I'd love to come to Glasgow. If you want me to speak at any of your events or your group, let me know. Crafty Nihilist, White House dinner menu, pizzas, hot dogs, anyone? I imagine that they eat quite high quality stuff here. Diego Rivera says the whole thing was staged. It was. Now you've left a comment I'm going to come to, Diego Rivera, and you've also made a video which I commented on. Lalo Salamanca, nuclear codes at home. I don't think it's nuclear codes. As I said, I think they're safer in Mar-a-Lago than they are with Biden. Hugo Runes, right. I wouldn't trust. Goonlove says I wouldn't trust Biden to make me a cuppa. I wouldn't. No. Hugo says, Ben, I really dislike your hat today. I don't like your choice of American baseball caps anyway, but I kept my mouth shut. But now this new hat, I call them IQ reducers. Well, Hugo, this is one of the things we don't agree on. I know, and there's many other people I know, but. Snarnock says, what do you think of Ron and Rand Paul? Oh, Ron Paul, he ran for president a while ago, and I thought he was pretty good. Is his son like him? But he's kind of like, he's a Trump-like figure, isn't he? He's quite Trumpian. Michael Snow, hello. The thing about Ron Paul is he couldn't get into a position where he could win, whereas Trump did. Diego Rivera says, hi Michael Snow, hello. Alex Jones is a joke, and so is David Icke. I saw your video on that, Diego Rivera, and I have a different view. And Klopp, I thinks anyone who wears a baseball cap is dodgy. Well, as at the moment, I don't. So you may think it's terrible fashion sense, but I'm actually wearing my sun hat when I go out because it's too hot, and I wear my I wear my Australian hat. It's actually an Australian hat. Classic Cars of Harrogate spotted, says 17th letter Clint equals Clinton. No. Oh man. David Splendid Isolation says the UK nuclear warhead count has been increased to 300. Oh my god. I guess they're all on the Trident subs, aren't they? Hugo Rune, could you wear a British cap? Yeah, I could do, Hugo. I mean, the one people thought it was actually a British cap I was wearing, my British hat I normally wear, but that's actually Australian. It's the Australian, which of course has the Union Jack on it. Martin Taylor says, the Dark Journalist streamed this yesterday on this Trump raid. Very deep. I like him. I think he's cool. I haven't watched that yet. Crafty Nice, thank you. I can wear whatever I want. Thank you. Nihilist Lives Matter. What do you want to arrest him for? Don't know. Crimes against hair products. Oh, they'll think of anything, I reckon. They'll think of anything. Barney bought a dildo. Oh, God, what a name. Is Putin a Chad? Oh, he is, you know. I mean, Putin, as you know, he's one of the few statesmen I feel any respect for. Snarnock, do you wear your MAGA hat when you go to work? You must be joking. Through Oxford? I'd have the shit kicked out of me before I walked half a mile. I'm only wearing this hat now for this particular occasion. I'll tell you what, guys. I'm just going to do the comments now. For some reason, the comments didn't appear. Oh, not most of the comments didn't appear on the actual video, and I can see them in my comment section. But anyway, I'll go through them. The first comment on the notice I posted was Diego Rivera posting, "Trump is an actor. Alex Jones is totally exposed. They are all in it together. An episode of Dallas is more convincing." Oh, that's where the JR being shot to reference came from, wasn't it? And then my soul sister Jamnoy72 says underneath, "Yes, I agree. Bobby's dream was more convincing than this crap." Now that's something I disagree with Jamnoys on as well. I think this is the Trump thing is different. It's not all part of the theatre, but Bobby's dream. Oh goodness me, yeah. That was when I remember they killed him off, and then they brought him back, didn't they? He was written out. He was supposed to die in hospital, and they wrote him out the story, and then he reappeared because it turned out it was all a dream or something. I mean, that has got to be one of the craziest soap exits in all time. I mean, there was one. Which was the one where they wrote someone out of a soap opera? I think it was Dynasty or the Colbys or something. They wrote one of the characters out by having her abducted by aliens. Is that true? That was true, isn't it? Oh, let me have a look. Hang on. Dynasty. It's Fallon, yes, Dynasty 2. Hang on. It was someone called Fallon. Fallon Carrington. There we go. I'm not suffering from the Mandela effect here, am I? Characterization, appearances, season 1, bloody blah, season 6, reboot, characterization. Hang on, where does it say? I think she gets abducted by aliens. It's like, is that true? Hang on, I'll find it in a minute. Hang on, I'll just go through your comments again. All right, Hugo. Yeah, I'll wear my normal Aussie hat most of the time. Now, Nihilist Lives Matter. Do you wear your MAGA hat in the bath or shower? Oh no. Jay Austin, how you doing, Jay? You're still not getting alerts. Oh right, Jay. It's good to catch you live. Thanks, Jay, and thanks for tuning in and posting. A lot of people have complained about this. I don't know if it's a YouTube glitch or it's part of my shadow banning. You see, I myself, I was just checking actually because I've just been downloading some audio for work, and one of the things I subbed to the Need to Know channel, but the UFO podcast with Zabel and Coulthard. I found I was unsubbed. I had to resubscribe. That happens many, many times. A lot of people complain they're not getting notifications when I upload or when I go live. So I'm sorry about that, mate. I think it may be I think it actually literally might be a glitch. and not part of my shadow banning. I don't know. I know we're going off topic a bit here, but oh yeah, I'll carry on with the comments, then we'll look into the whole dynasty thing. Yeah, but there was Jam Noise 72. She's not in the live chat, but she put me off with her Bobby from JR Ewing and Bobby and Dallas. Where are we now? Comments happen. Let's start again. Let's go back down here. Where was I? Right. Then we'll go back. I'll start scrolling up, and here we go. It's another one. This is Dark Corners UK. How's it going, Ben? I wondered if you could discuss your thoughts on the theory that these large bushfires we're having all over the country right now have been purposely set by someone working for the government as a means to engineer food shortages. Right. I don't know specifically Dark Corners. It wouldn't surprise me. The thing is, when you get very hot, dry weather, these fires often start spontaneously anyway. It's difficult to know. Some of them are just random arsonists who set them off. But I don't know specifically. I don't. But it wouldn't. Obviously, it serves a purpose. This hot weather, the drought serves a purpose. Whether it's engineered or whether it's just happened, and people are like, it's just happened, and the government are going, yes, we're lucky. They're using it. They're exploiting that. You know, they're making the most out of this crisis. Okay, going up a bit more. And we have this one. Bluebeam. Hello, Bluebeam. I see the Donald does now all the times this communist fist up in the air all the time. Crazy Mandela effect. So I don't know. Your grammar's not very good there, Bluebeam. But I don't think it's communist. I think it's just his style. And the Crafty Nihilist says, I'll be listening. Well, here we are. This is the comment I mentioned earlier. I'll be listening whilst painting. Mark's at the football. Edit. Oh, he's back. All right, Mark. So are both the Crafties here tonight? That would be great if you're both here, guys. I would be really, really happy if you're both here. But welcome, one of you or both of you. Here we go. David Schultz says, those who understand history are condemned to watch others idiots repeat it. Yes. Snarnock, do you still have your cap from your naval training? No. God blimey. That was how long ago? I won't tell you how long ago that was, but it was a long time ago. No, I don't have anything from that time period. They can't stop this conversation, can they? You're right, brother. You're absolutely right. Diego S. An alien abduction in an episode of Dallas. Is that the next PSYOP? I think it was Dynasty, but I'll check in a minute, Diego Vera. Snarnock says, do you remember when they used to burn the corn stubble before it became illegal? Yes, I do. Yeah, I used to see the big clouds of smoke. I used to be going along in my dad's car and there'd be clouds of smoke everywhere. Jamnoy72, hello, soul sister, how are you? Sorry. That's alright. I don't mind you. You've given us a good little segue there, Jam Noise, you know. Hugo Roon's 75 spliffs skinned up, all king-sized. Should last me a few days. I was going to say a couple of hours, but, you know. Dombay Dog says, regarding fires in BC Canada, it was found that some people were setting fire to create employment for themselves as forest firefighters. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, there was there was a kid at my school, I remember, he used to overturn dustbins because he thought it created work for the street cleaners. Oh, man. Jay Austin says, Ben, what's your opinion on the David Clark leaked image of the diamond-shaped UFO that was the same image on Nick Pope's office wall? Hey, Jay, funny enough, Jay, I've just done a video about that. It's the one I did yesterday. But I go into it in detail, but in summary, the one on Pope's wall appears to have been his little reconstruction. But that was actually apparently lost, so we don't know for certain because the removal men lost it or some other cover-up like that. But the photo coming out now is incredible. This is why I call the video Why Now. Check it out. Both the crafties are here. That's great. It's very interesting, the Calvine UFO picture, yeah. Diego Rivera says, what about Salman Rushdie? 33 years after Fatwa, Rush died, yeah. Oh, I don't know how he is. He was stabbed 15 times, they reckon. He's on a ventilator, so it looks bad. It looks bad. I'll just find out how he's getting on. Maya Tusi did a very passionate video about that because he's Iranian too. Let's have a look about poor old Salman Rushdie. That's what you see. It's awful when it happens. Of course, if it had been Dr. Jordan Peterson, there probably wouldn't have been this response. But I mean, generally, here we are. Salman Rushdie's defiant sense of humour remains, says his son. Oh, good. So he appears to be on the mend. It says he's still in a critical condition, but his usual feisty and defiant sense of humour is there. Right. He's had life-changing injuries, but was able to speak to his family. He's been facing death threats for about 40 years. They've arrested the guy who did it. He's pleaded not guilty. He's called Hadi Mata, the guy who did it, or allegedly did it. Yeah. Oh, funny hell. You see, if he'd been like, supposedly he'd been like someone on the alt-right, there'd probably be like people cheering him on. Probably the news would be saying, "Oh, that's cool, isn't it?" Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, he's off the ventilator now, Michael. He must be off the ventilator if he's talking. So yeah, that's good news. That's good news. He wasn't on there long. But yeah. Oh yeah. Right. I was gonna go on this little going off topic. I know we're going off topic, but I wanted to look at this this thing. Dynasty 2, the Colbys. That was it. Doing a quick googling. Oh, Fallon. Let's have a look at Fallon aliens. Yeah, what is this? Is this? Here we go. I think I'll show you this. Hang on, I'll show you this. Here we go. I'll probably get a third-party strike. The Colbys. Here we go. Right. Oh, we've got a tumbleweed there, so we're really out in the open. Can you all hear it? Can you hear it? You can, yeah. This is a soap opera, man. This is 1985. Oh, car breaks down. That's always a sign. Look at that 80s hairstyle, man. Oh, how quaint, a car phone.
I'm calling for my car. I'm in the middle of the desert, at the junction of Route 61 and Diamondback Road. I'm having trouble with my engine. It's dark, and I need help. Can you give me the number of the nearest...
Ah!
I said I need help. Hello? Hello?
Look at her shoulder pads, man. That's so 80s. You should play American football with that shirt. Oh my god! It's definitely based on Close Encounters, isn't it? This is like Roy Neary, when he's in his van. Oh! That's like the mothership, isn't it? Oh man! Can you believe it? I've got to click like on this because it's so cool. Can you believe it? They're definitely copying Close Encounters, aren't they? Oh man. This is the perfect way to eliminate a person, isn't it? It's a perfect way to get rid of a character in a soap opera. So I think you get the picture now, don't you? Alright, that's enough of that. I mean, that is just classic, isn't it? That is just utterly classic. You know, that was a soap opera, and what on earth are they gonna probe? Hello, Orbit 8 Oi, how are you doing? Crafty Nihilist says the 80s were so weird. Weren't they just? Yes. I'm from the haunted generation too, you know, so let's go up back and see if I've missed any comments. Goonlove, what has Rushdie to do to get stabbed? Well, he basically committed what was described as blasphemy against Islam, and there's been a death. There's basically been a price on his head from the Iranian leaders for a long time, and this is long ago, and he's been watching his back ever since. And Nihilist Slice Matter, there was a BBC documentary about Bradford's reaction to the fatwa now. It was this when they were setting off fireworks or something, because I remember when it all kicked off, there was like there were several bomb scares in Oxford. And Lisa says there's some numerology in his name too. It is the Geordie Gray in the Colbys. That was odd, wasn't it? Wasn't that fun? Wasn't that like kind of like a weird? It was fun, yeah. Jam noise. It was like the 80s were fun, yeah. But that was like really. I don't know how they actually justified that in terms of the writing, the program, the program creators and things. How did they justify that? It's not like science fiction. It's to write a character out by having her abducted by aliens. It's just really weird. Christian Mays, hello, how do you do? Says just got in. This is good. Quite recap about this live. Trump 2024. Yeah, well, they want to stop him running, don't they, Christian? That's what they're doing. Yeah. Graham says in season 7 of the Dukes of Hazzard they found an alien in their car. Really? Graham, is that true? I don't remember that. I used to watch that avidly when I was a kid. Let me just try googling it a moment. Dukes of. How did the alien get in? I mean, how did the alien get in? Because you think about it, even the boys couldn't. The two young chaps who drove the car, they had to climb through the windows, didn't they? Alien, oh bloody heck! Strange visit to Hazzard. That's right. Dukes of Hazzard fandom. Bo and Luke make friends with a space alien they nicknamed the Visitor that stows away in the General Lee. That's the car. It isn't long before the boss and Roscoe find out. What? Flying saucers and aliens. Here we go. This is the Dukes of Hazzard. This was a great series that was on when I was a kid. It was like a comedy adventure. Oh, come on. Ads. It was a comedy that was on when I was a kid. Very great fun. It was very, very well done. Car chases and things like that. There was the boss Hog, and there was Roscoe the coppers, and they was after these two guys.
Hazard County continues with 3 more UFOs.
And that was Bo and what was they called? Bo Duke and Bobby Duke, I think. And there was Daisy, their sister. And there was Uncle Jesse. He used to run the C. He was like their controller. He had a CB. Yeah.
Inside it. Jed Barkley said he seen one over at South Pasture, and Zeke Farish claims he fired a shot at one of them coming down over his chicken coop. Sheriff Coltrane asked me, Elton Logan, to remind you all not to panic. And now back to the music.
I'm not panicking, but I think there is something to this.
Oh my God.
Daisy, I enjoy science fiction as much as the next guy, but you don't really believe in flying saucers, do you?
I'll tell you something, Luke.
Luke and Bo. Luke, Duke, and Lou, or
Next
Luke.
morning, however, right before dawn, Enos was returning from a night patrol when he was passing Skunk Holler. and a most amazing thing happened.
I just love the sort of like hillbilly accent, and it's almost like a perfect skeptic cliche, isn't it? You know, like Bill Hicks. You know, Bill Hicks talking about going to Fife, Alabama, where aliens have been sighted. We were armed because we don't want to be abducted. Oh my God, yeah. Get on with it.
For their store-bought staples.
Yeah, it's a regular episode. They're gonna get a strange little feller.
Oh, hang on, here we go. Oh, look.
I wonder if we look as strange to him as he does to us. Hey, little feller.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Come on down here.
We won't hurt you. I just want to know where you're from. Please come down.
I don't
You're
think
right.
he's understanding one.
My God, you're right. There are aliens in the Dukes of... I don't remember that. Yeah, aliens in the Dukes of Hazzard. Can you believe it? Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Orbit says, we call them boogers. Yes, Fife, Alabama. Oh, it's so funny it's so funny when Bill Hicks is talking about UFOs, yeah. Jam Noise says they went full abduction. Oh, well. That's really amazing, that is, yeah. And Graham says, yeah, they found an alien. There was an alien, yeah. Obviously, not in the car, but they found him there, yeah. David says, David Clark is on with Howard Hughes tonight talking about the Calvine photo. Thanks, David. You know, I will actually, hopefully that'll be on the podcast, because I always listen to The Unexplained with Howard Hughes. It's a very good show. Stephen, did he say mind control? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure, Stephen. Hello, Paul. How do you do? Evening, Ben in ISO. Yeah, little green guys. We call them boogers. Bill Hicks always used to love taking a Mickey out of anti-intellectualism, didn't he? Especially for hillbillies and that, you know. Snark said your video last night reminded me of the pictures of a dead alien that was captured in Puerto Rico and preserved in a jar. It was later removed and never returned. Well, Snark, have you got any pictures of that? Yeah, I used to love the Dukes of Hazzard. It was so funny. It's been cancelled though, wasn't it? Now it's been cancelled for being politically incorrect, like so much else. Oh, Martin Taylor thinks it looks like a Teletubby. I think it looks like that creature from Star Trek. You know, I think was it the Next Generation? There was a creature that looks a bit like that. Yeah. Right, it's on Talk TV. Oh yes, David, I'll check that out. You know what's weird, right? Howard Hughes looks so different how I thought he looked when I saw his house. I'll check it out, David. Thanks. When I saw his house, what am I talking about? When I saw what Howard Hughes looked like, I'd already been listening to him for years and years, and I had this idea he had long black hair. I imagined him with sort of long black hair down to his shoulders. You know. Hello, Jake Yorkman. Who will win the election in 2024? Well, I'm hoping. I can't help wondering if by then it will be too late. I think. Is there going to be an election in 2024? That's the question. Right, Timothy Good, Snarnock. Timothy Good's books. Is that the one, Snarnock? Is that the book where there's like that weird bird with the snake's teeth, with a snake's head or something? Because I think that was that above Top Secret? Yeah. Hello, Kerry Woolley. How do you do? How are you? It's amazing that they put aliens into various things, and they put aliens into various things, and just like normal things that don't have aliens and not alien themed will suddenly get an alien story. There was, I think, let me just check. I think there was a UFO episode of Heartbeat. I think. So I'm just looking up for something because I think there was an episode of Heartbeat which was UFO themed. Heartbeat is like is great. It's a sort of warm-hearted drama series about it's about like a little Yorkshire village in the 60s. Oh, what's happening now? Yeah, in the 60s, and it starts off with one of the guys as a policeman, but it carries on. I think there's about 7 seasons. Yeah. Where are we now? Stephen says, "I'll take one David Icke over 1,000 Donald Trumps." Oh, David, you know how much I respect David Icke as well, Stephen. But I do like Trump as well. Nihilist Lives Matter says the Dukes of Hazzard guys were older than me when I watched in the 80s. Now I'm older than they were. It's depressing. Time flies, doesn't it? Nihilist Lives Matter, doesn't it? It really does. Howard Hughes is he the British Jeff Rence or the British Art Bell? No, that's me. I'm the British Jeff Rence and Art Bell. Howard Hughes is kind of he's got a really good voice, but he really has the gift of the gab. His show has a lot of style, and he plays a good devil's advocate. He asks tough questions as well. Yeah. Pat Riot says, was Rusty's attacker yelling the name of the yellow Teletubby? Lala? I don't think Lala's the yellow one, isn't it? Yeah. And Paul Armstrong says, yeah, he's sadly, Salman Rushdie is going to be, this has always been a risk for him, isn't it? But it shouldn't be like that. People should be allowed to say what they like, even about religions. If you are a religious person and you think someone commits blasphemy, and you say you have to get them, but why? Why can't God? If God is angry with somebody, can't God deal with them Himself? I mean, God, He didn't have any trouble smiting the Canaanites, did He? And flooding the whole world and killing everyone except Noah's family. I mean, if someone says something blasphemous, then I'm sure God could sort them out themselves. Paul says you need a lot more hair to be Rence. Yes, I need a cigarette to be Art Bell. David says I'm a good Art Bell substitute. Even better. Oh, thank you. That's praise indeed, David. Thank you. Yeah. So I can't help wondering about Trump. I mean, is something going to happen? Is something big going to happen before 2024? Because 2024 is a long way away. I mean, the way things are changing, it might as well be 2054. You see, there's the midterm elections, which is going to, obviously, in the United States, if Congress then flips against the president, then that means the president has far less power. However, do you remember that? What if the how do I say this on YouTube? What if the completely legitimate elections, the completely legitimate and properly conducted features of the last election repeat themselves? And Snarnock, you know what I say, and Alex Jones with a slightly quieter voice, yes, and a bit more money as well. Yeah, I've got a bit more money than him now. Nihilist Lives Matter 2024. Jack Johnson versus John Jackson. That's going to be confusing, yeah. Nihilist Lives Matter, that is not Roger, no. Roger I think is TK. Who's Tony, I think Tony Kenner, is that his real name? I don't know. Because on Twitter he's Tony Kenner. But I could be talking about completely different people. So is something going to happen before then? I mean, is Trump going to make some kind? Is there a way Trump could get back before then? Because my concern is that if nothing is done about the deep state between now and then, what's the point? Because look how they manoeuvred him out in the last election. They how he lost legitimately in the last election. Is it possible that he will lose legitimately again next time if something is not done to heal the system? I don't know. I think that's everything, guys. I think I've been through everything now. Yep, that's it. I know it's early. It's early. It's only 8:15. Is there anything else you want me to bring up? Anything else you'd like to talk about? Nihilist Lives Matter. Yes, the Heartbeat episode where aliens were harvesting the village children's organs. I don't think it was quite that dramatic, Nihilists. Heartbeat is not that kind of series. Heartbeat is not that kind of program. It's a kind of daytime. It's a kind of like daytime, light-hearted things about. It's doesn't deal with anything quite that dramatic. Let's just have a look and see if I can find it. Heartbeat TV series, UFO episode. Here we go. Gone Tomorrow episode is from 1995. Heartbeat fandom. Here we go. Heartbeat wiki. There we go. I'll show you this page. I might as well. Here we go. Constable Ventress witnesses a UFO during an electrical storm. Oh my god. Meanwhile, Greengrass wins a luxury cruise in a draw. During a terrible thunderstorm, several people claim to have seen a UFO flying over Aidensfield, and Sergeant Blaketon cannot just dismiss the matter because PC Ventress is one of them. Ventress even thinks he was abducted. Bernard and Lily Conway have trouble with their neighbour, Ted Halliwell, and suspect him of knocking over their milk cans. It goes on like that. This is from the 1995 season. Let's have a look. How about that, eh? There you have it. This is the episode here. This is from Heartbeat. Season 5, episode 8. There you go. Yep, aliens in Heartbeat as well. Hugo Room wants to talk about cannabis. Oh, right, okay. Well, you're the expert there, Hugo, but I have smoked cannabis twice, and had quite an experience, yeah. Glockbite Ben, who is your favourite truth seeker? Apart from myself, there's loads I really like. Obviously Miles, Colin, there's David Icke. I'm just going through a list of names now. There's those I don't really get on with personally, but I like what they do, like Andrew Johnson, things like that. I still like what he does. I haven't changed my opinion on anything Andrew Johnson talks about. David, Ben, haven't they remade the Midwich Cuckoos? I'm not sure. There was a very good film called The Village of the Damned, which was it was actually an adaptation of John Wyndham's famous sci-fi horror, The Midwich Cuckoos. It was about there was this really weird occasion when suddenly everyone in a village collapses and they faint. When they come round a couple of hours later, you find all the women of childbearing age are pregnant, and they give birth to these weird, sort of like Nordic type children. I've not read the book. I've seen the film Village of the Damned. It's very good. John Wyndham is a good sci-fi horror writer. Snarlock, have you read the Brazil UFO Encounters Volumes 1 and 2 from Flying Disc Press? No, I haven't. Although I am as you know from yesterday's video, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll know I'm very interested in the Brazilian UFO scene, which is it seems to be particularly dramatic. Brazil tends to get the nasty ones, the kind of the ones that make you ill and do horrible things to you for some reason. Pat Riot, Chubby Brown UFO is worth the watch. What, Roy Chubby Brown? Oh, right. I thought he was more a stand-up comic. But Nihilist says we'll never see Salman again. In 5 years there'll be a new story about how he died peacefully at his home, caused by complications from the injuries he sustained. Possibly Nihilist, although maybe he'll fake his own death and then live under a fake identity. I mean, that's understandable if he does that. Punches Couches. Hello, Punches Couches. Yo, Ben, great hat. Thanks. Stephen, can you do a show on Bigfoot? Yeah, I have done them before, Stephen, but I'm happy to do one again, yeah. Frank Triggs. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Snarnock. There was the police officer who investigated the Todmorden case. Yes, that's Alan Godfrey. He investigated that mysterious death of the Zygmunt Adamski, which looks very mysterious. Then he himself had his own close encounter. Yeah. Nihilist. The US should never have revolted against us British. It was the start of all their problems. Yep. Ungrateful colonials, honestly. Hugo Rune. Okay, mate, we'll do cannabis another day when I've got chance to research. I mean, what I can do, Hugo, is I can talk about my experience of smoking it. I mean, I smoked it twice, and I had some. Both times were very different. The first time was very pleasant. I was laughing. I laughed and laughed. I couldn't stop laughing. The second time, though, I actually started hallucinating, and I started getting paranoid. It was pretty horrible. David says, David Splendid Isolation. 1995 was a peak year for UFOs in popular culture because of the X-Files' popularity. So many documentaries on the subject. Maybe Heartbeat will have followed suit for that reason. Quite possibly, yeah. Alliance of Calgon says Richard D. Hall. Yeah, he's excellent, yes. As I said, I've got my problems with him personally, and as I've explained in previous videos, if he speaks to me the way he has in the past again, I will community guidelines at some point, maybe after his talk. Nice stroll in the car park kind of thing. But he has been excellent. But as Michael Snow says, you don't hear so much from him nowadays. Yeah, he has. And Clopite says, what do you think of Richard D. Hall? I think he was excellent. At one point, he was excellent. I considered him the best at one point. Now he seems to. Then the last couple of years, he seems to have lost it a bit. I think he's lost his touch. The whole statement analysis thing was being used as a kind of magic wand to sort everything out. I think that was a big mistake. I don't know why. Maybe his life has changed. Of course, he got married. He had a kid. He's now into like I'd say off-grid living, which is fair enough. But he doesn't produce as much as he used to. He doesn't. He kind of has some. He's become more and more. He's become more and more paranoid. He's become more and more hostile towards others as the years have gone on. I've noticed, and that I think maybe to his detriment. He's got to the point where he won't even speak to people who could assist him in his scholarship, and he just will not even talk to them because he thinks they're all shills. He thinks they're substandard. He slags them off, which you can actually see it in some of his output, that he has essentially isolated himself from people who have information that could help him, and he just said, no, I'm going to deal with it myself, and I'm going to wheel in, what's his name, Peter Hyatt, and that's all I need. Well, he's wrong, and it shows, and his work has suffered as a result. David Splendid Isolation has brought up the Day of the Triffids, and I've read the book of that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Stephen, yeah, Richard lives somewhere in South Wales. He does indeed, yes. Annihilist Lives Matter is getting nostalgic for the 90s. Yes. Michael, he's not done a speaking tour this yet. I don't think he has, no. I've certainly, normally I'd have heard about it because people would be saying, "You're going to go along, Ben? You're going to go along?" Which of course I would. I mean, I assume unless he bans me, I would go along. However, he hasn't done one, has he? No. That's a shame because they're pretty good. They're not just. It's not just his show is good, which it is. You get a chance to meet people as well and sort of hang out and socialise. Hello, Rod. How you doing? Nice, but he might go back to. He did like virtual tours during the lockdown. He may go back to doing live tours at some point. I hope so. Of course, he might ban me because of, I don't know, because he thinks I'm a shill, or because I've criticised him. Of course, I should say actually, like, if at some point my path is going to cross with Andrew Johnson again, if that happens, I promise you I will be as good as gold. I will be exactly like I was at Outer Limits magazine conference, and I won't wear a disguise, of course, but I will be completely and utterly professional and kind. I won't speak. I'll just stay out of his way. I won't speak to him, but I'll just ignore him, I think. That's the thing. David says, Ben, did you watch the Day of the Triffids BBC series? Yeah. Is that on YouTube? Because that was bloody good. That was very good. There was a film made of it as well. Oh, Day of the Triffids. There was a movie. There was an old black and white film made of it. And it was very good. Is it on those clips? There's a few clips from it. Oh, the movie's there. The film is there. Oh, there's been a remake. There's a 2009. There's a film of it. Yeah. But this is the. Oh, it wasn't black and white. I don't think. I think it was coloured, but it was. Yep.
Open your mouth, please.
Yep. There is a film of it.
Give you a good night's rest.
This is quite a good film as well. And there was a TV series made by the BBC in the early 80s, like you said, 1981. That was very good. Michael Snow went to a Nottingham show with Richard. Yeah, I think I've been to a few. I went to one in Nottingham. That was when I was dating Sue Stain, and I was staying there. I've been to one in Newcastle. I went along with Truth Seekers North East. I've been to them in a number of different places. Crafty says, resurrect David Jones immediately. I think David has had his day, I think. But I've got some brilliant memes. You know, you've seen the memes I've made out of the photograph. David is pleased that you do this, that and the other. Rick Horden, good evening. Don't worry about being late, mate. That's all right. And the film of Day of the Triffids is pretty good. The book is good as well. Snarnock says he lives in Merthyr Tydfil. Snarnock has spelt it wrong, but he spelt it with English phonetics. So yeah, does he live in Merthyr Tydfil? Maybe he does. I don't know. Frank says, I don't think Andrew Johnson has a heart. Lives through his head. Think he may be on the spectrum. Maybe, yeah. He certainly is. Like I said, the way he behaves, the things he says, and the things he said, and the fact that he was completely unapologetic about it. If he'd apologised for what he did, I'm not the type to buy to bear a grudge if someone's really sorry, but he's not sorry. He's not. And David says there is a more recent series of the Day of the Triffids made around 2007 with Eddie Izzard. Oh my god. I remember the shitty blue fleece, yes. David Jones for Prime Minister. You can see me hobbling out my sticks and my sun hat. And I still use that. I'm using that sun hat at the moment, actually. Yeah. Oh, did Gareth? Yeah, Snarnock says Gareth did an impression of Andrew. I thought he was pretty. Gareth certainly brought up Andrew's little audio about me. Yeah, there was a bit of a shock jock element to Gareth, I must admit. He knew that these sorts of things were good radio. He always used to bring up these things like this, yeah. But he used to sometimes say to me, Ben, you don't mind if I bring this up, do you? And I'd say, I don't think I ever told him no, I don't want to talk about it. I was happy to talk about it with him on the show. Sean Westerby, hey Sean, saw Richard at Nottingham a few years back and seemed to recall he was suffering from back problems, maybe why he's chilling out nowadays. Also bumped into Neil Sanders, who came to the same show called Livestream. Thanks, Sean. Thank you. Yeah, I met Neil at. I think I did meet Neil there. I saw Neil at one of Richard's shows, and I spoke to him briefly. And it's probably Nottingham because he lives near there. He lives near Nottingham. But yeah, does Richard have? I think Richard did mention he has a bad back. Yeah, which is a shame. I mean, it's very easy to get them, and once you get them, it's hard to get rid of them, and they're often quite painful. Yeah. Yeah, Frank, Gareth was a good mimic. He really was. Yeah. Snarlock, is it true that when you told Gareth about Andrew, he sent Andrew a computer virus? Oh God, no. No, Gareth wouldn't do that. Crafty Niles, Gareth was a sweary genius, much like myself. Yeah. Oh, you are. Yeah, I remember. If that's Liz. Do you remember when you saw them? They were delivering that big blue box to RAF Rudlow Manor, and we did some research, didn't we? And we found out where it came from and things like that. David Schultz says, Ben, what about a movie watch? Invasion of the Body Snatchers, 1956. Oh, David, is that a request for a watch party? Because that's not a bad idea. Yeah, we can maybe try that. Frank says, I was the one that brought it up to Gareth, was how I became friends with Gareth, and why I went on his panel for the first time. Great memories. Excellent memories, yeah, Frank. And I'm glad you told him about that, because in the end it was quite a good show. It's quite a good show. Snarnock says, Neil Sanders looks like a post-punk musician. He does a bit, doesn't he? He's a real skeptic now. Have you heard his latest show? He does a show with this guy called Brent Lee, who's like a Mick West type ex-conspiracy theorist. Do you know Mick West keeps interviewing these ex-conspiracy theorists, the way out of the rabbit hole, and Brent Lee is one of these people, and Neil, I think, is the same. Neil has become quite a skeptic, which of course I disagree with him on. I don't get resentful to people because their beliefs, if they're polite to me, but he is definitely turned skeptic pretty much, yeah. David says the 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers is the best iteration made thus far. It really instills a sense of paranoia, really, yeah. And of course, he's got the famous meme with the guy. Got the actor's name going. Donald Sutherland, yeah. Oh, Michael Snow says Neil Sanders is a metalhead, and my mate plays bass in a band with him. Oh right, I didn't know he's a musician. Oh, Rick Holden says do both Body Snatchers films. Now Snarnox asked a good, interesting question: is Michael Shermer now an ex-skeptic? I think he is. You know what? He has been saying some really, really strange things lately. I actually did a video about this. But he had that amazing incident where he got married. I mentioned this, I think, in my skeptic talk. He had this amazing experience where he got married, and now he wrote an article which I think he's watered it down a little bit to make it sound less dramatic. But he literally had like a real synchronicity moment at his wedding, and then he starts going on the Joe Rogan show with Graham Hancock. So he and Graham Hancock have made friends, and yeah, I think Michael Shermer seems to be on that kind of like looks like on that kind of crossing the aisle moment. Now, as I said in my video about this, I never expected him to sort of have a road to Damascus like flip of a switch 180. You know, these things don't often happen. It's a long process when you change your mind about something very fundamental to what you believed before. And I expect that Neil Sanders, I mean, I don't know, I haven't followed Neil Sanders that closely, but I expect Neil is probably gone through a similar experience, because I don't think there was any moment where he sort of like went click and that was it. He wakes up one morning and finds he's a skeptic. I don't think that's the case. That very rarely happens. It's more often a kind of like a build up of doubts and forces in the background, which then eventually it emerges on the surface, which I think we're seeing with Michael Shermer. Because, like you say, he's sort of hanging around with Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson. Once more, Graham Hancock wants to take him on an ayahuasca trip. So, of course, yeah. Rhiannon, hello, how are you? She says, evening Ben and all. Apologies for being so late. 32 degrees C in my attic, so I was hiding in the garden. That's alright, Rhiannon. It's perfectly understandable. I'm not a hot weather person either, as you know. But it's I think it's hopefully it's now mid-August, so hopefully autumn will start soon, and we can at least have a little bit of a breather before next year, because it could be that they're gonna the government are going to use weather control to manipulate heat waves all the time. It wouldn't surprise if they do that, to say we need to do something about climate change. We need to tax you. We need the Great Reset. We need you to live in the low carbon bubble and be happy. Snarnog, there's several episodes actually with Hancock and Shermer. When they first came on, they were always arguing, and they're getting really, and Graham Hancock gets really arsey when people disagree with him. But then they sort of like find a rapport. It's very interesting to watch how they progress. Oh, anyway, guys, I've run out of things to talk about. So, if you want me to talk about anything, let me know. Let me know what you want me to say. It's basically we covered the whole Trump thing, so it's free association from now on. Right, yes. Snarnox says, remember the hurricane that was turned away on 9/11? Yeah, Hurricane Erin, very interesting. I think it did a 270-degree turn away from the coast. This was a Category 3, 1,000-mile across hurricane. Now, this is weird because on the day of 9/11, obviously the weather was a late summer day. It was quite a pleasant morning, but this hurricane was bearing down on New York City. Now, potentially that could have done even more damage than the 9/11 attacks. Yeah, it was hardly mentioned in the weather forecast. And then what does it do? It goes zip, it suddenly turns away. Yeah, Gardening with Nick says, I'm Graham Hancock's gardener for a few years now. We both speak for hours about Egypt and other topics. Also have a smoke with him. Oh, really, Gardening with Nick? Then perhaps your username should be Gardening with Graham. But there you go. Gardening with Nick is cool. But right, I didn't know that. That's interesting. And what's he like to talk to? Is he a nice, interesting chap to talk to? I bet he is. I've got a feeling he probably is. And you have a smoke with him? Oh, smoke of what? I wonder. Lisa, I don't know. Lisa may have had to leave. Crafty, she sometimes comes and goes. Rhiannon says, have you spoken about the newly released Scottish chef UFO photo? Yes, in fact, Rhiannon, you may not have seen it. I did a video yesterday all about that. It's on my channel if you want to check it out after I finish this. I won't be much longer, actually. I won't go over 2 hours. Bernie says, very interesting show, Ben, as always. Good night. Night, Bernie. Thank you. Thank you. That's it, Snarnock. Yeah, that's right. There were two chefs, actually. Although some people say they weren't chefs, and it was a cover story because they were actually poaching. There's some. I mean, Ross Coulthard mentioned this. He said that they were actually poachers, and they said they were chefs at a hotel just to and having a ramble just because they didn't want too many people to know what they were doing. They were trespassing and poaching, and also apparently the hotel in Pitlochry has never heard of them. Well, they said they didn't have two guys as chefs or something like that. So it could have been that was a cover story. Now, David, I'm going to tune into. As soon as I've done this, I'm going to go straight over to Talk TV and watch Howard Hughes talking to Dr. David Clarke about the UFOs. Yes, this is a real UFO. It's interesting, actually, about Clarke. Is he doing what Professor Simon Holland has done? Because Simon Holland is absolutely no doubt. Simon Holland is trying to bury his past. He's trying to rewrite his own history. Now, is Clarke going to do the same? Is Clarke going to? Because I think, based on what he's been saying, I think he sees the writing on the wall. He really does. I think it's maybe why Mick West has gone quiet. Maybe Mick West has gone quiet for that reason. Now this is interesting. Oh, Gardening with Nick says Graham is a good guy, very knowledgeable, but he does have a temper. He does, doesn't he? Yes. I've noticed he's quite fiery, especially when he's on with. He used to get round up with Michael Shermer before they sort of made friends. David Keith, any news on the Capel Green release? Yeah, well, funnily enough, Dion did put up a notice on Facebook about it. Now, I don't know if I can repeat it because I don't know. He shared it. He shared it to the Bentwaters group, but the the Lone Ranger group, but I don't know if it's private or public. But basically, I think it's suffice to say, and I can say this without giving away details, but it is an active project and it's still ongoing, and they are making progress. DJ, right? DJ B2 says a lot of chefs do go poaching. Maybe DJ, I've got a feeling, possibly DJ. Possibly the chefs were poaching. They were chefs at the hotel, but they were poaching. They may have been trying to grab some pheasants for the kitchen to serve to the guests, and that it's possible that's a regular thing at the hotel, and they didn't want. Obviously, they'd be in big trouble if it ever came out, so they kind of made up a story about it. So they just said, oh, they were just going rambling, and then they just said afterwards, oh, chefs, we never heard of these two, when they found out they were poaching, because they have to say that, don't they? Otherwise they'll be in the shit. But it's possible. It's possible that this is why there was this confusion over who the two guys were. Diego Rivera says, predict the future, Ben. Oh my goodness me. What a very, very easy question to answer. Not. I can't do much. Diego Rivera, if you want me to give you some possible perspectives for the near future. Disclosure, UFO disclosure. Oh, I see. I feel Steve Bassett slapping my wrist. ET disclosure. I think is actually more likely to happen now than at any other time. It may even happen before the end of the year. I would say there's probably a 50% chance that UFO disclosure is going to happen before December the 31st. Yeah, whoa, Ben, yeah, you go, wow, Ben. How can you say that? Well, obviously I could be wrong. I'm not going to go down Ladbrokes and put any money on it, but I don't think they take bets on that anyway. John Hutchison says. So Frank Trick says John Hutchison had a good theory on the hurricane on 9/11. Yeah, to do with it creating electromagnetic force for the weapon used to dustify the towers. Same tack as what Hutchison used in his experiments. That's right. Yes, it's in Dr. Judy Wood's book. Nick says, I'm a full-time gardener in Bristol, but have a lot of clients in Bath, where Graham lives. Yeah, he does. He lives in Bath. Also, Nick, I wonder. I'm actually. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to a conference in Bath. It's actually the ASAP Seriously Strange conference. And I wonder if Graham will be there. I wonder. See how we are living. Hello. The good citizens of South Carolina and Florida used the Second Amendment to blast that hurricane away. Thank goodness for that. Yes, they all turned their shotguns, Bill Hicks style, and went, oh, there goes another one now. Boom, boom. David Schultz says, I guess it's time to hit the road. See you later. Good night. Night, David. David Schultz, thank you for joining in. Oh, Crafty says, we live in Box and both work in Bath. Hey, Crafty, are you going? The Alan's going, I know. Yeah. Snarnock, has John Hutchison's YouTube channel gone? I don't know. He might have. You see, he started like doing a David Shayler thing, didn't he, with cross-dressing. A lot of people use that to discredit him. I don't know. Diego Rivera. Simon Holland wears a Baphomet T-shirt, does he? Oh, blimey. I think he's a strange sort of Scottish scientific bloke. Thing is, like, I did an article about him, and I mentioned actually him in one of my UFO disclosure videos. But he started like being a real kind of Mick West-style skeptic. But he's kind of trying. He's not doing it. I think he's doing it consciously, but he's trying to like maneuver himself a bit up the starting grid. Like I say, he sees the writing on the wall, and he's subtly changing his position. Rhiannon says, hot weather impedes my brain. I think it does me a bit as well. Yeah. Oh, Rick says that's not what Diego's looking for. What, the Baphomet T-shirt? Rhiannon says, how could you see all that detail on the Scottish UFO photo? Couldn't make anything out. Oh, well, I had to... Rhiannon, you can't see, like, little spots. Like, there's little... I mean, I made a mistake. I mistook Nick Pope's reproduction for the actual photo, and it wasn't. So I had to edit it, but... Crafty Nihilist, I'm sorry I never told you. Yes, I'm coming to Bath. I'm going to the ASAP Seriously Strange conference. Why don't you go too? It's really cheap. It's like £39 for the weekend, and you live locally. You live close to Bath. Crafty, watch. I'll tell you what. Did you hear my latest Panwo show? Because I had Christian Lander. You probably missed it, but on Thursday I interviewed Christian Lander all about the conference, and there's a link there. You can get tickets. Oh, do come. It'd be great if you could come. Rhiannon says it looks like a flying cheese toasty. It does a bit, doesn't it? It's actually diamond shaped, apparently, metallic, silent in silent as it flies. Gardening with Nick. What's the conference called? It'll be good to meet you. It's called the ASAP ASSAP ASAP Seriously Strange Conference. Good to meet you too, Nick. Yes. Frank Trigg says Graham Hancock is getting old now. We all are, aren't we? Yeah. Thanks, Rhiannon. Yeah, thank you. It is a bargain. £35 now. Great. Crafties, please. It's so cheap, and you live locally. You wouldn't need accommodation. It's a whole weekend, and it is really good. It's not just the speakers. You get to take part in a psychic laboratory. You can actually. The date is. Rhiannon will probably beat me to it. It's literally Saturday the 3rd, Sunday the 4th. It is the first weekend of next month. Stephen says they've got rats the size of cats in Bath. You know, rats are big as blooming cats in the quartermaster stores. You know. Yeah, it's the first weekend of next month. Oh, you're welcome, Rick. Thank you too. Frank says, did you see the podcast with Graham Hancock and Mike Tyson? They ate 5 grams of psilocybin chocolate and smoked Tyson's own grown super strength weed. No, I've never seen those two together. I thought they'd be a strange mixture. Tyson's been on with Joe Rogan, of course, yeah. You was the one, you come to Bath too. That'd be great, yeah. Snarnock has made a point here that it might be circular. Now, you see, based on that photograph as well, I would say that may be disc-shaped. You can't actually discern properly from the photo. There's a slight line on it, I think, that indicates there is like an angle. However, the witnesses state quite clearly it was a diamond-shaped metallic object about 100 feet across. It was actually right above them at one point, completely silent, yeah. Yeah, I do hope if you guys can come along to that conference, it'd be great, because it's really good. Some of you might find it a little bit overly skeptical, but it's fun. It's fun, and you learn a lot from that. Right, Stephen says John Hutchison still has his channel, but does cross-dressing on it. Okay. Crafty Nice says, what's her name from Lapis went and stayed in box. Right, is that Janet? I don't know. I think Janet might be going. I'm not sure. But yeah, that'll be good. I've got everything sorted out for that. Funny enough, the day after that, I'm actually going to go and speak in Lincolnshire. That's the day I'm going to go and speak in Lincolnshire. I've got to sort my travel out for that. So that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, I will be doing my reportage. It's Janet. Yes, I don't know if Janet's going this time. I'll ask her. If she's going. So she's definitely going to Lapis. I'm looking forward to that. I will be doing a reportage at ASAP and Lapis. So I think that's it, guys. Unless you want to add anything else tonight, well, I won't go on if you guys can't give me something to talk about. Crafty said, "I'll be driving past you twice." Oh, right, I see. User 1 is in that area too. Right. I've got to sort out my transport actually for this thing I'm going to in Lincolnshire. Obviously, the organisers will pay, but I have to organise it. Yeah. Anyway, guys, so thank you very much. If there's no one else has got anything to say, so Crafty Nice disclosure. All right, I reckon there's a 50% chance it's going to happen by the end of the year. How about that? I'm only saying that because, you know, Crafty, I predicted at the beginning of the year, basically that's it. We're not going to have anything this year. It's going to be a year of stagnation and hints. But what's happened since then? All sorts of things, yeah. Thanks, Pat Riot. Cheers. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you watching. Rick, has CERN affected reality? Yes. Quite likely. Check out my Mandela Effect video. Night night, Hugo Rune. Night night. Oh, Stephen used to go to the Bath Library with your camping gear. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you very much, all of you. It's been a good live stream. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in and watched and posted comments. My next video is probably going to be a roving review of Nope. I am going to go and say Nope. I'll see Nope, which is this new film by Jordan Peele, which I hope is better than his last one. But it is the reason I'm going to. Although, see, it's been recommended. Night night, no nights, David. Thank you. Rin Michaelis has recommended The Black Klansman, so I will check that out. But as you know, Get Out was a bloody awful film. This is about aliens, so I'm going to go and see it. Jock of Ages, good night. Everyone on UFO Twitter is raving about it. They're saying, "Oh, Nope's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's brilliant." But you know, is it brilliant in the sense that it is actually brilliant, or is it brilliant in the sense that, oh my God, I'll feel guilty if I don't say I like this film? Night night, Lisa. Night. You're welcome, Woody Black. Night night, Frank Triggs. Night night, Michael Snow. Yeah, it's not no rush. You can watch my Sky watching video whenever you like. It's there. Have a good evening, Rick. And night night, Crafty. Thanks, Stephen. I'll check out his channel. I'm going to watch Talk TV. I want to hear Howard Hughes now, because all the UFO community is raving about this photo, not just me. So, but thank you very much, all of you. It's been a really, really good. Thank you, Gardening with Nick. Nice to meet you. Hope to see you for real. Meet you for real at some point. Yeah. And have a good night. Yes. So good luck with Graham's garden. And if he grows something illegal in there, I won't say anything. All right. You know what I mean? Night night. Oh, we're doing a Waltons thing now. Good night, John Boy. Night night, User One. Oh, Punches Couches says it's actually all right. Well, I'll let you know, because I'm hopefully going to see it. It'll either be Tuesday or Wednesday. I think I'll be able to go and see it. Yeah, but there will be a roving review. So take it easy, guys. I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching the Panwo TV, all of you. And Richard Best says ancient microbial life on Mars. Or disclosure will come first. I think the two may be connected, but I'll cover that another time. Night night, Martin Taylor. Take it easy.